Welcome to Cozy Coven Chats with Jenny C. Bell, where we explore the journey of the witch. Hello, witches. It's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Feel free to send me messages because why not? This is for the week of April 26th. April 26th is my birthday. Hey, Tauruses. Hey, April Tauruses, even more rare. Yeah, it's my birthday. And I'm obviously recording this ahead of time because I'm in Portland at Spirit Northwest and driving home at some point today on my birthday to see my fam bam. It's my birthday and I want to talk a little bit about birthdays real quick. I think that your birthday is a magical day. It's your solar return. It's when all the stars and planets line up again for you. And I think it's an opportunity for you to do magic. And I think you should never miss a birthday for magic. So if you're busy on a birthday, save that birthday candle that you blew out on the cake and use it for spell work later. Birthdays are powerful magic, right? It's your day to shine, literally, figuratively, emotionally, spiritually. And you should do cool birthday magic. Whether it's manifesting, whether it's for health, whatever. You need to step into the birthday power, the birthday magic. So if you're letting your birthdays go by without celebrating yourself through magic, I want you to stop and not do that anymore. Like, treat it as one of the Sabbats. Treat it as a holiday. And also use it as another excuse to have fun, to be creative in your practice. So this week we have Beltane, which just also fun little shout out to my own self again. I am in the Llewellyn's Sabbats Almanac for this year, and I am the Beltane person. I'm the one that introduces Beltane in that book. And then I have a Beltane ritual. So it was funny, I asked, hey, how do you do one of these annuals? And then, anyway, long story short, I got introduced to the person that does the Sabbats Almanac, and she's lovely. And I was like, I want to do Beltane because I just wanted to do one of the cross-quarter ones. I feel like everyone loves Samhain and Yule, and so I was like, I want to pick one that's doesn't get as much love. And so there's a lot of Beltane love in there. There's a cool card spread. I talk about flower essences. I talk about Taurus and Gemini being in the Beltane energy. So yeah, it's a good time. So we have Beltane, and on the same day, so we're looking April 30th, May 1st, full moon in Scorpio, which is so witchy. So Beltane is very hedonistic, very Taurus, I think, about flowers and fertility and dancing naked in the moonlight. And then you have Scorpio, who's just the badass witch of the signs. And she's there as the moon. It's like Nancy from The Craft dancing in a fairy circle. That's the vibe that I have. And I think it's powerful. I think it's super fun. And I think that if you're ever going to step into the idea of play and creativity for a Sabbat, Beltane's the one. So do something fun that day. Go look for fairies with your kids, make a flower altar, buy yourself flowers, roll around in the grass, just have fun. Have fun. Whatever fun means to you, right? Dance. I don't think anybody dances enough anymore. Once my kids got older, we stopped having dance parties. We used to shut off all the lights and get glow sticks and then put on Happy from Pharrell, and I like to move it. A lot of Beyonce, early Beyonce and Destiny's Child, and dance nobody's watching because kids dance like that. And then they're both too old and too cool now. So I was I realized the other day I do belly dancing as part of my exercise, but I was I really don't dance like I used to. And I remember this interview with RuPaul. I don't even know whose show RuPaul was on, but RuPaul was why can't we have a daytime disco as part of a gym? And what? Where is that? Can someone please do that? Just have a room with a disco ball and good older music, because this is gonna be for older crowd. Give us 70s, 80s, 90s dance music, and let us just dance as our exercise. Like, that would be so fun, but it has to be in the day because we're too old to be up at night. So if you're not dancing, dance. Make a playlist and dance. Like, no one's watching. And then tell me your favorite, like, what's your song? For me, it's Shakira because I like belly dance. I really cannot resist some good Shakira drum beating. My hips, they don't lie. Like, they just need to get in there. But I also really like Beyonce. Always want to move to Beyonce. Like, I have a hard time, like, not. I like some early Madonna to dance to. Yeah, dance. Oh, and I love funk music. Like, Jungle Boogie is so good. Brick House. Okay. Like, we need to dance. So that to me is Beltane energy. Dancing, eating sweets, just like giving into all the pleasurable things in your life. That's what Beltane energy is. And, we're not here to be martyrs. That's not what the witch lifestyle is. The witch lifestyle is fun. We're the fun side of things. So please have fun responsibly, right? Okay, so our card is, let's see if it's a fun card. It's 8 of Wands, and we're still in the Magical Hours Tarot. This is really interesting. So it's a woman, like a young woman, and she's looking up at the 8 Wands in the sky, and she has like a clock or compass in her heart, and it's open, and all these letters are pouring out, and there is flowers around her. They're like trumpet-shaped flowers. They kind of look like pink datura. So these are dawn plants, 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands card is a communication card. It is not a subtle, intuitive, ambiguous message. Here we are talking about direct communication, straight to the point. Do you want to say something? Say it. It's kind of like what I'm talking about with Beltane is like, just get out there and dance. Like, just say it. You can express your opinion, find a way to do so because it could be inspiring to other people and can transform a stagnant situation. The card is about dynamic, quick energy. It is about saying something in a timely manner. Also pay attention to the messages you may receive. These are likely very clear communications. The wands do not leave much room for imagination. Very true. In this case, their asset is clarity of thought and speech. Okay, so what are you not saying that you want to be saying? Something I've really been working on this year is being more of myself online, which is like really scary and a little bit unnerving. Not that I've ever been fake online, but being more like funny or being more of a whole person instead of just being like, I'm a witch and this is what witches do, but being like, I'm also a mom, and I also really like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I also really like cartoons, like I'm a full person. And so I also really like dark chocolate. Just putting it out there. Share your favorite dark chocolate with me. I have to say, we had this place called Lily Bells, and the guy retired, and I'm just like sad because it was like some of the best dark chocolate I've ever had. But now I'm more like, I'm on a Trader Joe's kick. Love just like the Trader Joe's basic dark chocolate bars. They're delish. And I used to like be one of those people that like denied myself sweets and got to be skinny and eat your fiber. It used to be fiber. Now everyone's on this like protein kick. You got to eat 100 grams of protein or something every day. Ridiculous. And then I was working with a health coach, and I wasn't eating gluten, soy, dairy, corn. I couldn't even have tacos. Anyway, it was rough. And I was doing this to heal myself and all this stuff. But the one thing I could have was dark chocolate. And it just became a lifeline. It's like, this is my everything. And he was like, I don't know if you should be eating so much. And I was like, I don't really care. You took me off everything else. And I never stopped. So I usually have a piece a day, just like a square. When I'm on luteal phase, sometimes a whole bar and whatever. And I love brownies. Love it. I'm requesting a chocolate cake for my birthday. So we're in Beltane energy. We are speaking our truth. We're dancing like no one's watching. We have the sexy, witchy Scorpio full moon. It's just like all leading you to dress gothic and dance. Please. I have a playlist for the Divergent Witchcraft book, and it could have been a lot longer because I'll be honest, when I got into writing that book, I got so enmeshed in like 80s alternative gothic music, like Depeche Mode and The Cure, Susie and the Banshees, which is more 70s, but like also leading to the 80s. Gosh, so many. The Smiths, and just all of this kind of music. And I could have made that playlist a lot longer, but there's like, the playlist starts off with some songs and it takes a turn, and it's like kind of 80s, like Echo and the Bunnyman. It's like kind of got this like alternative 80s vibe. And that's because that's really what I spent listening to. That was my vibe I still love that. So yeah, I used to also, this like Scorpio full moon and Beltane combo is reminding me of, I used to go to Club Metro in the Inland Empire of Southern California. They had a goth night, and it was like the best, because like other clubs you have to worry about like your drinks and men hitting on you and just creeps and whatever, but like goth night, you could just dance your heart out in a corset and nobody bothered you. It was fantastic. And so moving on to, we're still talking about the Divergent Witchcraft book, and we are on the chapter of cycling monthly, honoring the moon. So when I was writing this book, if you don't know, you can't write books too long. This book was originally 100,000 words, and it's like 50 now. So it was too long. But I was like, it's my opus. So anyway, I was like looking at what's necessary to me, like as a new witch when you're starting out. And I really felt like the moon, like the elements we talked about last week, really necessary, or no, 2 weeks ago. And then the moon was another one, because like if you're a witch and you go on social media, everyone's talking about the moon. And like I'm trying to write a book that really builds a foundation for people, and I have to talk about the moon, but also the moon's very important to me. So like, and the reason why it's important to me is it's the first time I really felt a spiritual connection to something outside of church. So I remember I was like 13 and I was reading Wicca Guide to Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham. And he said that the moon could be referred to as Selene. It's like the Greek term. And I looked up at the moon. It was a full moon. Happened to read that chapter, like right around a full moon. And I look up at the moon and I'm like seeing her as something other than just like a planet in the sky. And I just like felt so overwhelmed with like this sublime feeling. And then that night I dreamt of this woman, and I did my best to draw her goddess, most likely. It was this pristine beach, like stretch of beach, no one around. And it's nighttime and there's this huge full moon in the sky and the ocean is calm. And there was this glowing, pregnant woman. She's naked. Her hair was like long and black, and she's just like luminous and walking along the beach. And that image always stuck with me, because I was like, I think that's the goddess I called on. Like it just felt like she was like, yeah, girl, I'm here. And it was so amazing to me. So in writing the book, I learned in research how Maiden Mother Crone was sort of made up. Like for years, I thought it was like real, and it was like real ancient ancestor stuff, but it's not. Like there are definitely maiden goddesses. There's mother goddesses and there's crone goddesses. But that idea of the triple goddess and all this was kind of like, again, like reinvented for Wicca. So then I was like, well, those archetypes really like leave out people who identify as men or feel more masculine, and they don't identify with it, like really leaves out like half of the people. So it's like, how can I reinvent these archetypes in a way that's inclusive to all genders and to anybody? And so I looked at the maiden and I made her the warrior. Because in some books of Wicca, the maiden is like a virgin goddess, and virgin just means woman unto her own self, not in the modern sense. In others, she's a warrior. So it's like, I really like warrior, because when the moon is waxing and growing stronger, it's gaining momentum, it's gaining energy. It's warrior energy, right? The warriors gather, they work out, they're getting stronger, they have their weapons, they're gaining momentum, they're going to war, they're preparing for fighting for something bigger. That's waxing energy. So then I was like, okay, full moon, what's more appropriate than mother? And I was like, nurturer, because anybody can be a nurturer. You don't have to have a child to be a nurturer. You might, nurture your plants or your pets or your loved ones or your friends or your elderly caretaking and your nurturing. So like anybody at any time in their life can be a nurturer. And the full moon is nurturing us with its big, luminous, powerful energy. So then I was like, okay, so crone, which I find like that term kind of offensive anyway as I get older. That and hag, I'm like, shut up. So then I was like, okay, so the moon is diminishing in light, but not necessarily in energy. So, she's getting wiser in the cycle, right? And so I'm like, elder. And anybody can be an elder at any time because like I'm an elder millennial. So I know that even though I feel like I'm not that old, I can be an elder. But you can be, an elder. It just means that you're more experienced than someone in something else, right? You may be an elder associate at work, even though you've only worked there 5 years, but everyone else is gone. So, elder felt more open and more gender appropriate, more neutral. But also it really does fit that because we're getting at the end of the cycle and we're really like starting to get reflective like we do at the end of something, like the elderly tend to do. And then there was in the Maiden and Mother Crone, there was no new moon. Like she's just like that part. They're like, sometimes they refer to her as like the dark lady or something like that. Sometimes she's like the sexy lady or like the mistress. It's like, people tried to fill in the gaps. So I was like, new moon is wild. It's wild because it's not in the sky. Like you're not seeing it. It's wild times. And the new moon is both the beginning and an ending. It's very liminal. So I was like, I'm going to call it wild one. And again, anybody can be a wild one at any time because totally, if you're not envisioning Marlon Brando, then you're really young. When I say wild one, the first thing comes to mind, like Marlon Brando in a leather jacket. Anyway, so wild one is because it's, like I said, wild. Originally when I was a witch, first becoming a witch, I was reading these books. New moon, they were like, you don't do any magic on those days. It's dark moon. It's like, you don't do stuff. It's void. Don't do it. And then people started incorporating astrology, new age. People really get into the new moon. Anyway, now everyone just like, you manifest on a new moon. That's become like the norm, but it wasn't. A lot of witches didn't do anything on the new moon, myself included. I focused on the full moon, those celebrating all the full moons for a year. They're called SBATs. And then I would focus on waxing and waning for other spell work. But I would not really work with the new moon because the energy is kind of weird. It's wild. Like I said, it can go either way. And you should definitely work with it. I encourage you to. But I didn't have any information on it when I was younger. So this chapter, I have a section on drawing down the moon and kind of like revamping that whole Wicca ritual. And, because it's interesting, because it does work. And I think cycling and working with the moon is huge. I have a class on Udemy called Attuning to the Moon. It's one of my best attended classes. People really like tuning into the moon. And you can get as deep as you want. Like you can start looking at the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So it's like, what does a moon in Taurus feel like to me? Versus what does a moon in Scorpio feel like to me? You can look at your sleep schedule. Like, you probably sleep better in the new moon time. You can look at, if you menstruate, you can look at your menstruation cycle. Like, what does it mean to be a new moon bleeder versus a full moon bleeder? But there's just so many things because we are totally ruled by the moon. Like our bodies are water, the ocean's tide is ruled by the moon. Like you cannot deny how cool the moon is. Like people are obsessed, and things get blamed on the moon, like lunacy and werewolves, and it's like full moon makes you go weird and wild. And so it's just, I love her. I love the moon. You can see the moon as any gender, the archetypes any gender. I personally prefer to call the moon La Luna because I think Luna is such a prettier word than moon. Just personal. And I like to talk to the moon. One of my favorite songs is Man in the Moon. That's actually on my Divergent Witchcraft playlist because because it's just such a good song. But yeah, I think if you're new to witchcraft and you haven't worked yet with the moon cycles, please try it, see how it goes. If you've been a witch a while, revisit the moons. Like, we do things a certain way for a long time because it's like that's how we learned. But revisit how some people look at the moon. Like, if you haven't bought a book on, the moon and how people work with the moon, go get one. Just see like the new views on the moon. It's very fascinating to me. I like moon artwork as well. The Magical Hours has my favorite moon card out of any tarot deck I have ever seen. So yeah, Man in the Moon. Tell me your favorite moon song. And I also I ask this in my class all the time. So let's do journal questions. But one of the things I ask in the Tuning to the Moon class is what is your favorite phase of the moon and why? And which one do you identify with? So when I tell you that the archetypes are Wild One, Warrior, Nurturer, and Elder, where do you feel you are in your life at this point? And it may not have anything to do with age. And then our Eight of Wands, what do you need to say? What truth do you need to share? And then for Beltane, just my encouragement is to have fun. And I would like to wish you all a Merry Unbirthday, a happy unbirthday to you. And if you don't know Alice in Wonderland, then I'm sorry that was lost on you. Have a very merry unbirthday. Blessed be. As always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe and share with a friend. And be on the lookout for my books, Spirit Crystals, Discover Your Crystal Guide for Healing and Empowerment, and Divergent Witchcraft, an inclusive approach to making magic. And if you want to connect with me more, go to jennycbell.com, JennyCbell.com, to learn about our coven, to learn how to follow me on Substack, and also how to get a reading from me. Blessed be witches.